Hey everybody, John Napolitano here with you at Top Trading Pros. I am the options instructor here, and for those of you who don't know me, I just wanted to introduce myself. Hope everybody's having a great day today. If you're watching this, please like and subscribe our channel. We make plenty of free content, and obviously we are here to educate and to help you guys. So any feedback or anything that you guys might want to talk about or discuss, please let us know in the comments. So one of the topics I want to talk about today is how to screen for opportunity. Recently, the markets have taken a little bit of a dive, but actually only a dive in certain groups. The Nasdaq has been very strong this year, and now all of a sudden, major institutions and hedge funds are deciding to unwind that trade and put money in other places. So the question is, what other places? Where is the money going, and what are some of the stocks you should be looking at? So for those of you who might be frustrated the last couple of weeks as to their performance because some of the names that have worked so well this year are no longer working, this is the way to screen for opportunities. We talk about this all the time in our community. We have a weekly process that we go through. I like to look at the overall markets, then I go down to the sectors, and then from the performing or underperforming sectors, I pick either my long ideas or my short ideas. It's a pretty methodical process. It takes only about 10 minutes or so, sometimes a little longer depending on what you're looking for. But I'm going to show you a simple way to do this. This way you can potentially find good opportunities at the right time. So without any further ado, I'm going to jump right into it and share my screen with you. Here we go. This is finviz.com for those of you who aren't familiar with it. And Finviz, I have the Elite version, which is about $30 a month or so, something like that. You do not have to spend $30 a month if you don't want to. A lot of the features I'm about to show you, I would say most of them are free. So you don't have to worry about spending the money unless you want the extra service, because they do offer a lot of extra stuff. So I think it's worth it. You don't have to do it. But they do have annoying pop-up ads. If you don't pay the extra $30, you'll get ads that kind of pop up and you'll have to deal with that. So anyway, it always starts with this first screen, which is it's a really good page, actually. It gives you a pretty much kind of a dashboard of what's going on. It gives you all four major indexes on top of what's going on. This is obviously last night. Right now, I'm recording this around 7:40 a.m. So this is last night's close. As you can see, the Dow and the Russell are up and the Nasdaq and the S&P are down, which doesn't always happen. Usually markets tend to be correlated. So what's happening here is you can see that tech names were actually underperforming, down 1.2%, and the other names are actually outperforming. So what you have to kind of start to do is figure out where you should be looking. So I go to Screener, which is this little tab up here. And I always click on All, which is this other little tab here. You have all these tabs here that you can use. Now, this gives you all the possible choices, which obviously could be a bit overwhelming, but I really only use about 4 selections. So follow me closely. First off, since I'm an options trader and that's my specialty, I go to options short, which is right here. And what I want is a stock that is both optionable and shortable, which is obviously makes sense. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to pick average volume. I generally, as an options trader, don't like anything that trades under 1 million shares. So I want it to be trading over 1 million shares a day. And the reason for that is because I want liquidity. I don't want names that only trade a couple thousand shares a day. Even for stock traders, that can be very difficult, hard to get in and out of, and very costly, trying to cross the spread when you're trying to buy and sell stuff. So generally, I like to trade things that trade well. So that is over 1 million shares. Now, as you can see, that leaves me with 1,700 choices. Before, there was about 9,000 choices. So I already eliminated about 8,000 stocks right off the bat. Small stocks, stocks that you can't short, stocks that have no option capability, and stocks that don't trade well. All out the door. Don't want to look at them. I don't want anything to do with them. So that is what I do. So that's only 2 things so far. The next thing I want to do, and this is similar to liquidity, is price. I don't want anything, usually under $20, but for purposes of this video, you could do between $20 and $30. I don't want to trade penny stocks. I don't want to trade stocks that are like $1 or something like that. Because again, as an options trader, I want as many strike prices as possible. And I find that anything under $20 or $30 tends to be a little bit difficult to find the right strategy and the right selection. So, and plus, again, anything that trades less than $20 or $30, most institutions don't even want to deal with. And institutions make up for 80 or 90% of the volume on the New York Stock Exchange. So I don't want to deal with anything that's not institutionally held. So that's the other thing I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and go 30 because I'm going to leave the sectors open, I think, but we'll see what happens. I'm doing this live, by the way, so I really don't know what the outcome is going to be. So this is the price over 30. So now I'm down to 832 names, and I've only wasted about 2 minutes of my time so far. So this is obviously, as you can see, not a very difficult exercise. The next thing we're going to do, a couple of things you need to know. Average true range is the range of the stock. I generally want something that has an ATR over 1. And the reason why is because you want, as a trader, you want something that has a wide range, because otherwise you're really not going to make money getting in and out of it. You really want something that trades at least $1 of a range. This way you can find things that trade not just well, but trade in a wide range where you could potentially profit from. So I generally like to go over 1 on something like this. The next thing I want to do is over here at beta. Now, beta has to do with volatility. Beta, basically, so everything in the stock market. So the S&P 500, for example, has a beta equal to 1. Just kind of keep that in the back of your head. So if the S&P has a beta over 1, at 1, what I want is a stock that has a beta over 1. And the reason why I want that is because I basically want something that's a little more volatile in the overall stock market. So I want something that trades well. I want something with a high ATR that has a pretty wide range. I want something that is over $30 that's institutionally held. And I want something that's relatively volatile, something that has motion to it. Because as a trader, that's what you want. Whether you're going long or short, you want something with motion. So beta is very important. Now, as you can see, just by these, 5 different filters that I've used, I'm down to 385 different names. So this is where now you have to start thinking, well, what type of market am I in? Well, I'm looking for things that I want to go long, let's say, not short. I'm actually looking for things, let's say, that I want to go up. So what do I want then? I want something that trends higher, and I want something that's already in a pretty nice trend. So for those of you who don't follow me, I'm generally a swing trader. I trade options 99% of the time, and I am a trend trader. Most of my trades, I would say 80 to 90% of them, trade with trend. Because the trend tends to keep going longer than you can imagine. And that is where most of your profits tend to come from as a trader. So counter trend trading is something that I do from time to time. However, the bread and butter of what I do is trend trading. So that being said, what I want to do is have a stock that trades above the 20-day moving average. So there's a little button here that says 20-day simple, and that's what I want. I want something that is trading above that average, because that's telling me that the stock is in an uptrend. It's doing well. It's trading above its moving average. And in the long term, also, I want it to be in an uptrend as well. So I want the strongest stocks available to me with my criteria, looking for relative strength and long opportunity. Now, obviously, what you want to do now is find a halfway decent entry point. So now that I have everything that I need, you can see I went from a list of 9,000 names. I'm only down now to 184 names. Now, I mentioned in the beginning of this video that the tech space has been performing poorly. So what I want to do is go to custom. And what I want to do is I want to check all the sectors that are actually performing well. Now, what I can do is I could show you guys really quickly what sectors I'm talking about. I could go to here where it says groups, and this is a different tab that I have now. And this kind of gives me sector performance for the week. Now, as you can see, technology bounced a little bit, but the 1 month performance has been financials, real estate. As you can see, that as a swing trader, you want to avoid things that have a poor performance. So the 1 month performance for technology and communications has been terrible. Even though they're bouncing a little bit today, this is just a short-term bounce. So as a longer-term swing trader, what I want is look for trend. So I want to avoid communications and I want to avoid technology when I'm looking for long opportunities. So I hope that makes sense to all of you so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on basic materials, consumer, energy, healthcare, real estate and utilities. You could kind of check if you want. I'm going to avoid them because, again, they don't trade very well. So I might go back to them potentially if I don't get enough choices, but I'm going to leave those blank for now. But as you can see, financials did really well. I'm actually just going to pick the top ones here. So industrials, real estate, financials, and energy and basic materials. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and check energy. I'll leave out, like I said, real estate because there's not that many choices. And I will select industrials. I'm going to leave out consumer, communications, technology, real estate, utilities because they tend to be a little boring. And I'll leave out basic materials too because they're commodity related, just for now. Now, again, you can add those if you want. That's just my personal preference. I'm just looking for the best of the best right now. So that is why I'm leaving them out. So once I check them, I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and I'm going to hit submit. And as you can see, I'm down to 142 choices. Now you can actually sort this here. Also, you want stocks only. So if you click financials, there tends to be a lot of ETFs that are in the selection process. So just as a general rule, if financials are in the selection process that you're doing, you want to click on this where it says industry and you want to hit stocks only. You only want to look at stocks. You don't want to look at ETFs at this particular moment. And that takes me down to 121 choices. Now that's 121 charts to look at, but I'm looking for something very specific. When I go to charts here, so here's another tab, it kind of lists them all for you here. You can see these are all my choices and they're alphabetized, basically. You can sort them by sector, by industry. You can sort them any way you want. Now, one of the things you can do is you can kind of drag your mouse here and just kind of quickly glance at each chart if you want to. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to simply click on charts. And now you have the actual charts to look at. And this is what I do. I'm a visual learner. I'm a visual kind of person. So what I'm looking for now is potentially an early stage uptrend or a stock that has maybe pulled back a little bit and provides a useful entry point. So on this particular row, I see a couple of interesting things. Here, actually right here, being one of them, the very first one, you can see this chart looks pretty decent. It actually had a nasty spill over here. And then I guess earnings, you had an earnings gap. And you always have to be aware when you're trading that, you have to be aware of when earnings are. So the next earnings cycle here is August 21st. Right now it's July 31st. So this is, you have 21 days to potentially trade this one. So you are safe from any kind of earnings surprises. So what you're going to do here is you can see that it made a low here. It pivoted. And once it made this pivot here, it kind of rose above its moving average. And now it's above both moving averages. You have an upwardly sloped 20-day moving average, but the 50-day moving average, unfortunately, is still sloping down. That's because it had this obviously nasty period where it kind of went down. But it is showing signs of an early stage uptrend. So this is a name that I would definitely add to my watch list. I don't know if I would necessarily jump into it at this point, but it looks pretty good, actually. I think it's definitely, as far as, all the selling pressure looks like it's over. It pivoted twice already. It is in an early stage uptrend. So that would definitely be on my potential list of things to look at. The next thing I'm going to look at here, I'm going to go back. Again, you could just keep going through this. So you can see there's, you got to do a little bit of homework, but basically I'm only about 9 minutes into the into this illustration. And you can see now I have some pretty viable choices. And you could keep on going. You can sort this by sector and so on and so forth. And what you can do now is look through this list and try to find good opportunity. Here is an interesting one as well. I know it's kind of hard to see on your screen, but I'm going to make it bigger for you so you can see. And you guys can see what I see. Now, I'm going to make this chart bigger because this looks pretty compelling. This is a, let's see here. So this is a healthcare company, I believe. It's a biotech company, which I'm always not huge a fan of because they tend to be volatile. A little bit too volatile sometimes. But this one you can see here, it's the same scenario. It has fallen. You had earnings here. You had some sort of news event down here, but it did have a pullback into a moving average. You have the 20-day moving average. I'm going to zoom in on this for you guys. You have the 20-day moving average crossing above the 50, which shows technical strength, and that's going to attract more buyers. You also have a pullback into the moving average. So maybe you would want to wait for confirmation for this to start to maybe move higher, maybe a green candle or something like that, just to make sure it could hold that 20-day moving average. But there's another opportunity as well. So it's really that simple. I really wanted to point that out. Now, once you come up with a list of, let's say, I don't know, like 20, 30 names, something like that, you don't have to trade them all. But what you want to do, and this is what we teach in our classes and what I do in my coaching calls, is you want to create your optimal basket based on what's going on at the time. So again, if industrials or healthcare, let's say, happen to be the best sectors, those are the names you want to load up on in your portfolio from a swing trading perspective. Now, on the downside, if you're looking for short opportunities, you would want to do the exact opposite of what I did with the moving averages. You would want it to be below the 20-day, below the 50-day, and then you would switch those sectors to the terrible sectors that I mentioned earlier, like technology and communications, and you would have your list on the downside. So you would be looking for downtrends to potentially go short. So that's the way to go long, and that's the way to go short, and to find them on Finviz. So I hope this short video was helpful. Those are the criteria that I generally use for Finviz to find trend trades, to find things that I'm looking to trade potentially for a couple days, a couple weeks, even months at times. There are other ways to use Finviz for shorter opportunities, for earnings plays and stuff like that. You want to look for short float. You want to look for other stuff like that. There are things to do there. So obviously, play with those different filters, get familiar with it, because it allows you to save plenty of time. And time is obviously one of our most valuable resources. So I use it all the time. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Again, please like and subscribe our channel if you find these videos helpful. We'll keep producing content that works for you guys, that answers your questions and helps you along your trading journey. So please enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everybody, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care, everybody.